The story unfolds in this huge tower called the Vertical Self-Management Center. People living here get moved around every month to different floors. Their meals come on a platform that starts at the top and gradually goes down, stopping at each floor for a bit. Stick around until the end to see the redemption of a character. Welcome to your daily dose of movie pill. Today, we will be looking at a 2019 movie titled The Platform. Spoilers ahead, and let's get right in. Within the confines of the Vertical Self-Management Center, Goreng finds himself rousing with a stark concrete cell, distinguished by the numeral 48 etched into its wall. His surroundings offer scant amenities: a simple bed, a modest sink, and an ominous aperture in the floor dubbed the Pit by his cellmate, Trimagasi. This prison complex houses numerous similar floors, each accommodating pairs of inmates furnished with pseudonyms, meticulously designated by the facility's overseers. Each day, sustenance descends on a platform through the aperture, granting a mere 2-minute window to consume as much as one can before it descends further. The deeper the level, the slimmer the chances of securing nourishment. Monthly rotations reshuffle prisoners to different tiers. Upon encountering the platform for the first time, Goreng opts to abstain, spurred by a lack of hunger and a noble intent to reserve sustenance for those on the lower echelons. Aw, Goreng has a good soul. Having consumed his fill, Trimagasi nonchalantly spits on the table, acknowledging the likelihood of those above following suit. Meanwhile, Goreng opts to save an apple for later, but as the platform retreats, an oppressive heat envelops the cell. Discovering that hoarding food is prohibited, Goreng faces the urgent dilemma of disposing the apple to avert risk of succumbing to the searing temperature. Finding out that holding onto food is against the rules, Goreng realizes that he has to ditch the apple or risk roasting alive. This triggers memories of his pre-lockup interview, where he signed a paper agreeing he can't bail until his time's up. Back then, he had the chance to bring one thing with him, and he picked Don Quixote. Goreng signed up for this gig voluntarily, trading 6 months for a legit diploma. The next day, when the grub comes down, Goreng passes it up again, making Trimagasi think he's wasting space on floor 48. Goreng asks Trimagasi to spill his story, and Trimagasi reveals it all kicked off with a dumb TV ad. He splurged on this fancy knife he saw on the screen, but just days later, they aired another ad for an even better knife. That got him so ticked off he chucked the TV out the window, accidentally offing some poor dude passing by. Wow, that's one hell of a reason to be behind bars. Trimagasi ended up here because he had to choose between a loony bin and this pit. He's gone as low as floor 132, so he knows there are floors beneath that because he could see them down there. Down in these depths, food never makes it. A month down there isn't the worst, but the real trouble comes when you get stuck with 2 lower levels in a row. Goreng's freaking out about this, trying to talk to folks on the other floors to ration their grub, but they're giving him the cold shoulder. Trimagasi's response is to relieve himself down onto the lower floor, and he casually mentions that the item he chose to bring is the TV knife. The next time the platform swings by, Goreng finally digs into his meal. He also witnesses someone on the upper levels plummeting through their hole, to which Trimagasi remarks that it's a regular occurrence with no one bothering to intervene. Trimagasi shares tales of his travels through various floors, noting that they'll be bunking together next month. It dawns on Goreng that cellmates stick together during shuffles, leading him to grasp that Trimagasi resorted to consuming his prior cellmate while on the lower floors. When the platform makes its next pass, Miharu is seated upon it. Concerned by her injury, Goreng frets over her well-being, but Trimagasi advises him to pay her no heed. Miharu descends through the hole each month in search of her missing child, resorting to eliminating every cellmate she encounters to increase her chances of being reunited with her offspring the following month. The individual they witnessed falling was likely one of her victims. Yeah, I would stay far, far away from Miharu. Trimagasi points out that he never went as far as Miharu did. He just ate whatever dropped onto his floor. When the platform moves on to the next level, some prisoners try to mess with Miharu. Goreng steps in, yelling at them to stop, but Miharu takes care of them herself, swiftly returning to the platform. As the month wraps up, they knock everyone out with gas and shuffle everyone around. When Goreng comes to, he's tied to his bed on floor 171. Trimagasi tells Goreng he tied him up because Goreng is younger and stronger, so Trimagasi has to look out for himself. Screams from other floors indicate people adjusting to their new level, and when the platform returns, there's nothing left to eat. After 8 days, Trimagasi decides it's his turn to eat. Ignoring Goreng's pleas, he uses his knife to get some meat from Goreng's thighs. Just as he's about to chow down, the platform shows up, bringing Miharu with it. Remembering how much Goreng cared about her, Miharu jumps on Trimagasi, attacking him with his own knife. Next, she unties Goreng and gives him the knife, signaling him to deal with Trimagasi. After that, Goreng blacks out, only to regain consciousness later, lying on the bed. Miharu has improvised a bandage for his leg using a piece of bedsheet, and she's now devouring Trimagasi. She offers some of the meat to Goreng, who hesitantly accepts. Additionally, she brings him water before departing silently on the platform. As days elapse, Trimagasi's corpse starts to decompose, presenting Goreng with the opportunity to feast on maggots as well. Ew, feasting on the maggots doesn't sound like a fun time to me. Goreng starts seeing things like Trimagasi's ghost judging him as he eats. As the month wraps up, gas fills the cell and Goreng dreams about being with a woman while Miharu watches. When he wakes up, he's surprised to find a dog licking him. Even more surprised is his new cellmate, Imogiri, the woman who interviewed him before he joined the place. The dog was her chosen item, and now they're on level 33. Goreng recalls the creepy interview day, especially Imogiri's weird pauses between questions. Imogiri, speaking in the present, explains that she signed up just like Goreng did, unaware of the deaths that occur here. She figures there are around 200 levels. When Goreng mentions the food shortage issue, Imogiri suggests that if people only took what they needed, there'd be enough food to go around. Goreng thinks the idea of everyone suddenly cooperating is pretty far-fetched. Yeah, there is no way everyone will cooperate like that. He wonders if things could change with the death of a child, but Imogiri is certain that the company won't allow anyone under 16 here. When the platform brings their food, Imogiri only eats what she needs. After sharing some with her dog, she starts splitting the rations into 2 portions. As the platform heads to the lower level, Imogiri tries to talk sense to the prisoners, telling them to eat the ration she's prepared and make 2 more for the next level to spread the message. Wow, Imogiri really is smart and helpful. Goreng points out that the administration doesn't actually want people to come together. Imogiri doesn't like Goreng painting all administrators with the same brush because she had no issues working for them. But Goreng fires back, saying her past job let her pick her cellmate, giving her some privilege. Despite the setbacks, Imogiri keeps trying to ration the food every day, but the lower levels still ignore her. After putting up with Imogiri's constant yelling for 2 weeks, Goreng reaches his limit. He warns the others that if they keep ignoring Imogiri's instructions, he'll start peeing on the food every day, forcing them to eat crap. Surprisingly, the threat does the trick, and the prisoners begin passing on Imogiri's messages to the lower levels. Sometime later, the platform comes down with an unconscious Miharu on it. Goreng and Imogiri quickly move her to a bed where they take care of her, while the dog sneaks off to grab some food. Once the platform takes off, the cell turns freezing cold, and Goreng has to chase down the dog to get back the stolen food before they all get in trouble for breaking the rules. Later that night, Goreng gives up the bed to Miharu and crashes on the floor, only to wake up to the 2 women fighting. Turns out, Miharu killed the dog to eat it. The next day, Miharu hops onto the platform and leaves. Goreng spills to Imogiri about Miharu searching for her kid, but Imogiri sets him straight, saying Miharu came here solo 10 months back. Huh, who knew Miharu came here alone? She was an actress, no family, just like Goreng, who signed up to come here. Imogiri sent people down without knowing how tough it was, and she'd been battling cancer for 3 years. When she realized she couldn't beat it, she volunteered, thinking she could make a difference, but now she's lost all hope. On their last day on floor 33, Goreng tries to get Imogiri to eat something, worried they might not have enough food tomorrow, but she's too down to even get out of bed. The next morning, Goreng wakes up to find himself on floor 202, showing there are more levels than Imogiri thought. It's too much for Imogiri to handle, and she uses her bedsheets to end it all. In that moment, Trimagasi's hallucination pops up again, wondering if Goreng will eat his new friend. This time, Imogiri and her dog also chime in, telling him to eat her body. Goreng does his best to ignore their constant talking, keeping busy with whatever he can find. He tricks his stomach by munching on pages from his book and starts marking the days on the wall with the shard of a plate. But hunger eventually gets the best of him. He reluctantly starts feeding on Imogiri, with Trimagasi guiding him on where to cut. Sometime later, the next shuffle arrives, and Goreng is happy to find himself on floor 6. It's really hard to trick hunger. It always gets the best of us. The person on the other bed seems like Miharu, but it's just a dream as Goreng wakes up. His actual new cellmate is Baharat, who brought a rope with him. Baharat's pumped because he thinks he can climb all the way up from here, and he's already asking the folks on level 5 for help. The people above give Baharat a hard time before agreeing to help with the rope. But as Baharat starts climbing, the other prisoners pull a prank by dropping her pants and pooping on Baharat's face. It's disgusting and shocking, causing Baharat to lose his grip and fall. Luckily, Goreng catches him just before he hits the ground, but unfortunately, the rope is lost down the hole. Later, when the platform comes, they have to eat while hearing the commotion from the prisoners on level 5 fooling around. As time goes by, Goreng starts seeing Trimagasi and Imogiri's hallucinations again. Trimagasi says Goreng is doing great because he's almost done, with just 1 more month to go. Imogiri adds that change doesn't happen out of the blue. This gets Goreng thinking, and he hatches a plan. He turns to Baharat for help. They decide they'll jump on the platform armed with whatever they can find. Their mission? To make sure everyone rations the food, so everyone gets enough to eat. That's a really great and insane plan. While chilling on floor 202, Goring does some math and figures there are probably around 250 levels. Baharat's on board with teaming up, so they smash a bed and snag some metal pieces for weapons. They hop onto the platform and head to level 7. Goring reminds Baharat that they need to stop the prisoners there from grabbing anything. These guys had their fill yesterday and will eat tomorrow, so we should only start sharing food after level 50, where folks are really struggling. Baharat's a bit unsure because these prisoners are his pals who helped him out a few weeks back. But when an old guy gets angry, Baharat sees Goring's point and starts helping him fend everyone off. They keep going down, warning people not to touch the food. After a few more floors, Baharat is shocked to run into Brambang, an old wise man he deeply respects. These guys are doing a job that prison wardens should do. Brambang gives the boys the nod for their plan, and he reminds him that the administration doesn't give a darn about what they're up to. However, the workers on level 0 might care, so they need a symbol. Baharat and Goring opt for the panna cotta because it's a fancy dish that'll really make an impact if it comes to the bottom floor untouched. They keep on with their mission as they go down, keeping the panna cotta safe and warding off folks with threats. On the next floor, they find two guys ganging up on Miharu. One swinging a sword and the other's a real brute, making it tough for Goring and Baharat to fight back. Baharat takes out his opponent first, then joins forces with Goring to bring down the big guy. Sadly, it's too late for Miharu. She's already gone. Goring wants to take a moment to mourn her, but Baharat pulls him back onto the platform before it leaves them behind. Rest in peace, Miharu. She was a real fighter. They keep on going down, giving out food to whoever they find, even though they come across a lot of floors with only dead bodies. Finally, the platform stops at level 333, which seems to be the end of the line. They think it's empty at first, but they find someone hiding under the bed. Mali, the missing child. Baharat and Goring approach the kid, and as soon as they step off the platform, it starts going down again. Goring asks Baharat to chuck the panna cotta into the hole, but Baharat says no way. To their surprise, nothing happens. The room doesn't heat up or chill down. After some back and forth, Baharat gives the panna cotta to Mali. The three of them decide to stick around on that floor. Goring keeps getting visited by Trimagasi, Imogiri, and now Miharu too. Goring is getting some real scary hallucinations. All of a sudden, Baharat sides with the ghosts, saying that the girl is the key message. When Goring wakes up, he finds that Baharat has passed away from his injuries. Next time the platform comes around, Goring takes Mali with him. They descend to floor 0, which is eerie and empty. Trimagasi pops up and tells Goring to stay off the platform because he's not part of the message. They watch as the platform goes up with Mali, hoping she'll open the eyes of those above to the harsh truth. In this labyrinth of despair, we've witnessed the struggle for survival, the quest for justice, and the resilience of the human spirit amidst dire circumstances. From Trimagasi's chilling tales to Imogiri's noble efforts and Miharu's haunting quest, each character has left an indelible mark on our hearts. I rate this movie an 8 out of 10. Write in the comments what you would rate it. Looks like this movie pill is starting to wear off. But don't worry, there's always more where that came from. Tap here to keep the effects going with this next movie, because who can stop at just one? And while you're at it, don't forget to like and subscribe, because your next movie dose is just a click away.